Welcome back to the AI Wave podcast, the only podcast that combines the wonders of AI and how Rhode Island can be the leader of it all. I'm your host, Chris Parisi, and today we have a fabulous guest, the one and only Ali Jobe, who is an engineer, who is an entrepreneur, who is also a podcast host himself. So he's going to go on the other side of the table and let us know the glimpse of what it's like in the world of AI as an engineer. Is it doom and gloom? Is it sunshine and rainbows? We'll find out on this episode of AI Wave. Let's ride. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Chris Parisi, the host of the AI Wave, and today we have a special guest, and it's going to be a little bit of a role reversal because he has his own podcast that I was on recently, and now you are a guest on our podcast, the one and only Ali Jobe. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, Chris. It's a blast to be here, and being in this beautiful Trailblaze marketing office is just, I can feel the vibes. I can feel how you guys are just so cohesive and how you guys crank out amazing work all together. So thanks for having me.
I appreciate that. And for those that don't know, Ali is the engineering manager at Clio, as well as the host of the Upward and Onward podcast. You got to check it out.
That's right. Thanks for the plug.
So, Ali, we know each other, but let's go a little deeper and more backwards. Of where it all started. So one thing to let our audience know a little bit more about you, where are you from? And, you know, like what led you eventually to where you are today? But first, like we know you where you went to, what, Newberry College?
That's right.
But even before that, like where'd you go to school? Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah. So my journey begins in Rhode Island. And like many other people who are from Rhode Island, I haven't managed to escape it yet. It's kind of like a black hole that has this gravitational force and you just get sucked in. But I love it here.
Yeah, we hope you say.
I say that now, but my journey has really started in Rhode Island, and I went to Johnston High School. I graduated from Johnston High School, and at the end of it, I was thinking, what do I want to do in life? I wasn't really sure. I applied to a few colleges. Some of the ones that I wanted to get into, I didn't. So I looked outward from Rhode Island and to the broader greater Boston area, and I just found myself like, what am I naturally inclined to doing? What am I talented at? What are some of the things that I can see myself doing for a long time? And my family and myself, we spoke and we found that I've always been really inclined with technology. I've always found that it's been fascinating to see how like websites are made, how video games are made, what goes behind somebody getting an end result and it being beautiful when you go to www.google.com, for example. So I began my computer science degree at Newberry College, and through my studies, I found that it was really valuable to take what was being taught to me, but it was way more valuable for me to spend my time outside of class looking up things that weren't in the curriculum. So I really felt like self-learning was imperative to my success. After graduating from Newberry College, I returned back to Rhode Island, and I then began my software engineering career at Virgin Pulse. It is located on the top floor of the Providence Journal building. Yeah, and there I began as a software engineering intern. I was primarily focused on solving bugs for a large-scale application. So there I got really good insights on a large-scale web application, the things that go wrong and people complain about, being able to context switch, jump into new services, jump into code bases that I've never seen before, interface with different technologies, and just get this really good muscle of just being able to dive in, quickly assess a situation, think of a solution, and apply it to that problem. So that's how I began. Yeah.
Which was pretty good.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome, like unbelievable experience. The people there were super supportive, and it was just this culture of fostering collaboration, learning, and kind of knowledge sharing. So instrumental to my career so far.
So before we get into past the internship and where you currently are at, I kind of want to go a little bit more backwards so our audience understands you more than just, I went to this school in computer science. So I have a few questions here.
Oh, God.
And the audience actually didn't prep them on this.
Oh, God.
All right, so let's do a simple one. If you had any car in the world, what was the favorite color of that car? Like, what color would you choose?
Baby blue.
Really?
Yeah, it's my favorite color. I mean, I'm wearing it now, right?
That's right on cue. Okay, if you could teleport anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Aruba, an all-inclusive resort. I just want to sit, relax, drink, maybe look at the beautiful sunset, and be merry.
Oh. Yeah. That's a great answer, especially in the doldrums of like February and March of Rhode Island.
That's right.
This is a question that I like because I know my answer is that if you're at dinner, obviously there's the entree, but what are you more excited about, appetizer or dessert?
I'm going to go appetizer. I mean,
Yeah.
being in Rhode Island, calamari, you got some maybe burrata. You can't go wrong with any of that. So the dessert is great. I have a sweet tooth, but that appetizer smacks.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm an app guy.
Yeah?
I will do a couple apps
Okay.
instead of an entree sometimes.
Ooh, interesting. What are your apps of choice?
Well, it depends on the level, right? Are we talking about pub food? Because I go with a good mott stick.
Okay.
Love a mott stick.
Can't go wrong.
Calamari that you mentioned.
Yeah.
I love anything with bread and cheese.
Same.
You know, so definitely a big appetizer guy. And speaking about dinner, let's say you could have dinner with anyone in the world, dead or alive, like 2 or 3 people. Okay. Who would you have dinner with?
Yeah. I'm going to go with Kobe Bryant. I
Okay.
love the Mamba mentality. I love just how he was, in some ways, selfless, but also selfish and like knew when he had to step up and take roles and take responsibility for things that went on within his team. So definitely Kobe Bryant. I think another person would be Steve Jobs. I'd love to hear about his innovations and how he thought of solving problems, how he really was ahead of the curve, how he was instrumental to the success that Apple had, and just the trials and tribulations that he faced internally that maybe everyone else hasn't seen.
Yeah, that's a great answer, especially, you know, Kobe Bryant, Steve Jobs, 2 at the top of their professions. And you mentioned Steve Jobs always having to think about the future. And in this podcast, we talk about AI.
Oh, yeah.
The future of our society, the way that everything's going to be today is going to be different in the near future because of AI. And you're an engineer, right? Typically on this podcast, we have a lot of great not only AI enthusiasts, but business owners, right? Employers.
Yeah.
We want to hear from the employee point of view, right? Especially someone that's directly impacted by AI, engineers.
Yeah.
And for you, you're not only an engineer, but recently you got promoted to being a manager, right?
That's right.
At Clio, is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, I am now an engineering manager at Clio, which is a blast.
What does that mean? What do you do over there?
Yeah, so for myself, I manage a product delivery team. So we work closely with the product side of things, and we hear what the ideas and the concepts are that they want to instrument, take them to the engineering team, present them with them, decompose those ideas, turn them into actionable items so that engineers can write code and provide solutions for those ideas. Yeah, outside of that, I also manage a data engineering team. So really instrumental with the efforts that we have around machine learning and artificial intelligence. So that's been a lot of fun.
Oh, what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we have began our foray into the world of AI.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. And it's been a blast. It's so cool to see the outcomes that can come out of applying AI to real world problems. So I'll give you an example. At our company, Clio, there's people who we have that work for us called guides. What they do is they interface with employees of another company who are either parents or caregivers. What we do is we help alleviate some of their burden, whether if it's emotionally, mentally, and we provide support through phone calls, through sessions, through assessments on their mental health, emotional wellness, and just really make sure that we're instrumental in helping them, one, get back to work and be happy when they are at work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's important stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. It's nice to just work in the health tech sector because you can make tangible improvements in people's lives through code, through technology. And
Right.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the data engineering, I mean, AI is only as good as the data that you feed it and that it works with, right?
Exactly.
So, and you also have the program inside, so to speak, and you make sure both teams seamlessly work together.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So we are really tied together and really cohesive in the way that we think. We are in meetings constantly, and when we're talking about solving certain problems, we're often talking about what the other side of it looks like in terms of data. So it's a lot of collaboration, a lot of conversation, but we ultimately get to great solutions together.
Now, do you currently utilize AI in your own job, or do any of your engineers currently use AI?
Yeah, so for the past maybe 8 months, I've been at the epicenter of our AI strategy at Clio. One of the things that we've done is looking at the member actions that they take, the things that they do within our application, or even on the phone calls that they have with people at our company. And from there, we're able to categorize them as maybe needing support through them mentioning that they have some struggles with their mental health or emotional wellness.
How is that tagged? Is it tagged manually or is it tagged dynamically?
So dynamically. So through the use of AI, we are able to take those actions that they do. We put them through our AI model, and that can predict whether someone is at high risk. So from there, we're able to have a tighter feedback loop where we're able to provide personalized support to that person when they're in distress, much sooner than if it were being over the phone and someone were to log it in and they go to bed, they wake up the next day, they say, oh, this person was in distress yesterday. I need to get back to them. This support happens way sooner.
So what you're explaining to our audience is how your business adopted AI to improve their services, right?
That's right. Yeah.
That's wonderful. I mean, all these businesses, we have to adopt AI, right? And it's not easy. Fortunately for your business, you have a team of engineers.
That's right.
You're big enough where you have a whole staff. Some of our small businesses may not have that luxury, but we can be nimble enough. We can have AI tell us how to utilize and adopt AI.
That's right.
One thing I'm curious about is you answered it in a sense of here's how you're utilizing AI to perform your services or deliver them. What about like in the background, meaning like you have your engineer be like, hey, we need to build this code because there's certain things not working and we want to build these new features.
Yeah.
Are your engineers, well, I don't know if you could say this or not, but like, are your engineers be like, okay, and then using AI to do that job?
Yeah.
Or is that like something that's a little
taboo?
Or
what's interesting is I feel like AI at most companies, especially tech companies, it's kind of something that isn't talked about a lot. And whether if people are making use of those tools or not, I think it's behoove them to make use of it. Similar to a business analyst or a data analyst making use of Microsoft Excel or Word or any type of tool that really helps them streamline their processes. AI and ChatGPT, namely, is something that doesn't come up often in conversation, but I think that most people who are in this tech industry are making use of those AI tools because it really gets you ahead of the game. You spend less time debugging certain issues and can really make sure that the things that you think are good solutions are also vetted by AI, and they can kind of give you this breadth of knowledge and a breadth of explanation that you might not have just by talking to a peer or just coming up with a solution yourself.
I feel like another engineer is watching this right now or developer and they may not be utilizing AI. What is some tips, tricks, or advice that you would have for them?
Honestly, the first thing I think of is be aware of like new and upcoming trends. Be in tune with the market. Not only the AI market, but also just the economy, because the economy itself can tell you indications of what's to come next. So, for example, one thing that I think about is being in a startup world, having investment from banks, you need to not only know where the money's going in terms of investment and how you can be competitive, one of those ways being having an AI strategy, but also being in tune with what's going on in the broader economy. So, for example, Silicon Valley Bank a year ago went under. Many tech companies had all their capital with Silicon Valley Bank. So by being in tune with what's going on, you're able to have a sense of if you're safe, if your company is safe, and really how to navigate those waters. But specifically in terms of technical skills and things of that nature, I would say read up on what's going on with OpenAI. Be familiar with new developments like Sora. Sora is a text-to-video generative AI, which is
unreal,
right? But outside of that, just even
Did you hear about Tyler Perry? He had an $800 million investment for a new studio, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Don't fact check me.
Yeah.
But the fact is that he decided to stop that complete new studio investment.
Yeah.
Because he saw Sora.
Yeah. It's wild. Like
He literally just saw it once and said, F this, I'm done.
Yeah.
And shut down a whole investment.
Those are a lot of jobs that would have been created but are now
Right.
being replaced by just the thought of a solution being so seamless where you can type a prompt and get the end result that you're looking for that would have taken someone days, weeks.
Well, that's a great segue into the next question that I have, Ali, which is about job security. A business owner can look at it and be like, wow, I can, really increase my productivity without having to increase my production costs. What does an engineer think about when they see these advancements on AI? Because I'm sure half of it's like on one flip of the coin, right? It's like, wow, I can do my job so much easier, so much more efficient, so much faster. Maybe I have a few hours to just, do nothing. I don't know. Or be more strategic, more creative. But the other side of the coin might be like, shit, I may be out of a job.
Yeah. This question literally made me sweat. And it does sometimes. Because as mind-blowing and as fascinating AI is, it is in some ways a little ominous and can be a threat. So I think in the immediate future, I think for engineers, there's not necessarily this looming feeling of that it's going to replace your job now. But I think in the future, it very well can lower headcount across engineering departments because of the streamlinings of processes that you can have through AI. So for me, for the people I work with, I think that we're really ahead of the game, making sure that we're aware of what AI's capabilities are and how we can best be ahead of the curve. But it is scary. It is scary.
It is. Yeah. And it's something that we can't ignore, right? There is going to be job losses, but there's also going to be net gain in jobs, right? And a lot of folks ask me that question, how, why, right? Well, they also said the same thing when the internet was formed. And even, I know I said it in my last episode, they even said it in the Industrial Revolution. They're like, oh, this is going to take our farmers out. You know, we're going to lose jobs and stuff like that. There's going to be new economies, new industries that are going to be built. Yeah. But as much as you spin it, there will be jobs that will be lost. And we have to make sure that we utilize and deploy AI in a responsible way, where we're considering the impact on job loss. And one factor that's not getting considered as much is not necessarily job loss, but what I'm hearing now are some, let's say, businesses are growing. Yeah. Well, let's say they plan on hiring 100 people. Well, they're now hiring 40 people. Yeah. Right? So that doesn't count as a job loss, right? Technically. But when you do that, it's slowly reducing the number of job growth.
Totally.
So it is a concern that we got to consider and think about. And really, any individual, all you could do is really utilize, master the future, which is AI. You know, and from a competitive standpoint, you got to do what's best to control yourself, but also from a state standpoint. We have to make sure that we mitigate the job loss, that we upskill workers that for the jobs that are going to get lost so they can be doing these new jobs in these new economies and new industries. And make sure that employers are taking the responsible route towards AI.
Yeah. 100%, which you're doing a great job of, at least in the state of Rhode Island, right? You're on the AI task force for Rhode Island?
Yeah, the AI executive order was recently signed some weeks ago, and the AI task force is going to be a key part of that. Check out last week's episodes that talks about what are the 5 key components of the AI executive order. And one of them is the task force. Okay. And that is a pillar of that task force is the jobs. Like, how can we mitigate the job loss? How can we increase, the jobs that we have here in Rhode Island, and how can we reskill the workers with some existing great programs that we have today? And why not make Rhode Island the leader in this AI-driven economy?
Let's do it. I mean, we're poised for this technological advancement, and we are very capable of making it something that we are at the frontier of. So I'm excited to see what the future holds for Rhode Island and AI.
Amen. Yeah. Well, one thing that is, when it comes to technology and advancements, and going back to our conversation about engineers, recently a new AI startup released Devin, the first fully autonomous AI software engineer.
Oh, man.
Fully autonomous AI software engineer, he says. Why?
Come on, why? You couldn't let us just have this? Like, AI, just stay out of this one. No, it's great. It's cool. It's great, but it is scary because what it can do is remarkable.
Let's tell the audience a little bit about Devin. So Cognition AI recently launched Devin, a skilled teammate to build alongside or independently. It's an engineer. They position it so engineers can focus on solving more problems or more robust, right? That's how they're going to position it to engineers, right? But it could plan and execute engineering tasks requiring thousands of decisions. It could do it in an instant. And they equip it with a shell, they equip it with a code editor, they equip it with a browser, all the tools that programmers and engineers typically need. And then you can literally see how it's literally building applications. Yep. It's fine-tuning its own AI model. It's looking up on how to do certain things that it doesn't know so that it can do any debugging, so it could do anything. It's literally a fully autonomous AI software engineer.
Yeah. Scary. Sorry, but it is. Really, I think as much as it's cool and as much as it's such a technological advancement which will help us in the future, it also is kind of daunting to know that something out there can do the work of a whole team in the matter of minutes. So I think for people like myself, It's something to be aware of, but not necessarily that you have to quit your job. Just know that there's, I guess, I don't even know how to say it. Like, know that in the future, the things that you do now can possibly be replaced by AI. And to get ahead of that, it's a great idea to be really up to speed with the ways that you can maybe upskill, and also things like prompt engineering, something that didn't exist maybe a year ago. In the future, instead of a person being at their computer writing code, they may be prompting some AI model to give them a solution on how they can solve their problem. So it's going to be a drastic change in the near future, I feel, for software engineers as a whole, tech companies too, but I'm excited, nevertheless.
Right, because if there is this technological revolution,
Yeah.
right, and at the core of it is this program, right, this algorithm, this whatever you want to call what AI is, you kind of need software engineers.
You do.
To manage that.
You do.
To build it, right? So in a way, it's a boom for your jobs, for your industry. But understandably, it's also like that oh shit moment.
It is. It is.
Exactly. I just saw in your face.
You saw it, see?
Yeah.
No, you're right. But I agree. The silver lining is that AI, you can't trust it 100% right now.
Right.
It can't explain to you exactly why it made certain decisions that it did or got to solutions that it did. So there is that human in the loop. And that is at least kind of reassuring for people like myself, knowing that we still have a really important role in everything that goes on with technological solutions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting, though, right? I mean, I know it is daunting, and I understand that for sure. And I see, the potential negatives, but I like to focus on the positives, too. And one thing about when we talk about the future of AI, one thing that caught my attention is when Sam Altman recently said, the CEO of OpenAI, that there will be the first ever one-person billion-dollar company. That's wild.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's essentially saying one person and an army of AI agents is autonomously running a huge organization.
Yeah.
That's just wild.
It is crazy to think about, which is super cool, though, right? Think about maybe Caden one day having that billion-dollar company, and through the help of AI, he's able to do so, which wouldn't have been able to be done in the past.
I mean, it is wild. We're talking about the future of AI. Caden's my 2-year-old son. What his life is going to be like, right? Like, I talk a lot about how he'll be tutored by an AI robot. We just saw, is it Figure? Is the robotics company collabed with OpenAI, the ChatGPT people, and they now have this robot that can process into, because it's multimodal, it could process everything that you're talking to the robot. And the demo that they recently did, you could look it up, Figure AI, OpenAI, search that video, and the person was talking to the robot, they're like, you're the robot, I'm the person. And it was like, I'm hungry, give me something to eat. And then the robot looks, sees an apple, picks it up, gives it to them. And it's like, why'd you give that to me? And he's like, well, that was the only edible thing. And like, it was just talking to it. And it was conversing, and it was doing the things. And you just saw the future of when it comes to AI and robotics combined. Mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And, going back to that example of how one person can have a huge billion-dollar company, it makes it very interesting and exciting for maybe someone like myself. I am not an engineer, right? And our producer, Jack, was just talking about it, too, of, like, that's kind of cool for us, is that we can now create things that we never were able to create before.
Yeah.
But we're still going to need someone, let's say like yourself, that truly gets it and makes sure that whatever we're building is either built properly or maintained properly or anything like that.
Yeah.
But you would say it's pretty exciting, right?
I would. I think of the future being a world where there's a lot of younger entrepreneurs, people who are able to take the ideas that they have at a young age and take action on them. Not only them, but even the older subset of people in our population. Maybe they think that at this point in time, they don't have the capital, they don't have the resources to embark on some of the entrepreneurial ventures that they've had in their mind for a long time. But through the use of AI, they'll be able to take those processes that they've thought would be really expensive, take some time, and be able to autonomously bring those things to life. So I'm excited to see, even for myself, some of the ideas that I have, how I can make them come to life really seamlessly.
There's really nothing holding anyone back now.
No.
Like, you can never have a knowledge excuse.
That's right.
Anymore.
That's right.
Because you have the most brilliant mind.
Oh, yeah.
In your hand.
Yeah, I thought Google was good. I thought Google was good, but once ChatGPT became public to the masses, I just kind of saw a shift in my mind, and then also across the tech landscape. At that moment, was like, all of the things that we thought were possible are now even more possible, and this has opened up the playing field for a lot more creation. So really excited for the future.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, we like to end on a note where our guests give advice, right? So I'm going to be very specific for you. There's a lot of young, aspiring engineers, or maybe some older folks that want to transition to be engineers, right? So what are your words of wisdom? What do you want to tell our audience when it comes to engineering?
Yeah, when it comes to engineering, I think that the world is your canvas. You can take code and technology and apply it to a lot of different problems that you see right now, but then also some of the ideas that you have. I would say you have to be fearless, because as you progress in the world of technology, you can't know everything. And you're going to maybe think to yourself and be like, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to be able to get up to speed as quickly as some other people, or I won't know as much as others. But that's almost in some ways the best part about tech, is that there's always something to learn. There's always a challenge. You always get that dopamine because you uncover something new that you didn't think was possible, or you fix that bug. You provide value to somebody, and through the work in health tech, you can really make tangible improvements in people's lives. So I would say be fearless. Know that anything that's in your mind, you can make it happen. You're more than capable. You have way more support than you probably think of, just whether if it's through your peers or people who are similar to you. I would say find that community, find those people who you resonate with, and really just link arms with them and march forward, because I feel like technology is the best thing that has advanced humankind.
That was great. Wow, that pumped me up.
Let's go.
You motivated me. And you talked about linking up peers. How can folks learn more about you? Where can they connect with you?
Yeah.
Give us all that download.
Totally. So LinkedIn, Ali Jobe, ALIJOBE. You can connect with me there. Happy to chat. But outside of that, I shoot a podcast focused on entrepreneurship, creativity, and business. So look up Upward and Onward podcast. Talk a lot about entrepreneurship. So looking forward to catching you guys in the comment section.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts. And if you want to maybe join Ali's podcast, or if you have any questions for any of us, and what are your thoughts when it comes to the future of AI for engineers? Are you worried? Are you excited? Do you think this fully autonomous AI software engineer is a threat or an opportunity? I would love to hear more, and always reach out. And again, thank you for listening. Ali, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having
You're
me.
always a pleasure to chat with.
Likewise.
You just bring a smile to my face every time I see you.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.